Hi, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. My name is Cheryl and I run a small handmade business. On this week's video, I'm taking you to the craft fair that I did at the Vulture Fest. That's the name of the craft fair, is the Vulture Fest. And later on in the video, you will see some of the vultures flying around. I wasn't able to record. I recorded, but I couldn't record sound. And I mentioned this at the end of my video because there was a band playing catty corner from me and one behind me. And then when I walked down the road a little bit, there was also a little two-man band playing. And because of copyright, I didn't want any of that in the background. I also wanted to set my camera up while I had customers. But if you notice, when I think it's the first start of this, I'm showing my setup. We were this close together, and she had her walls up on hers, which was fine, but there was nowhere for me to set a camera. The other side, I couldn't set one up because it was an actual walkway, and I didn't want people tripping over it. And plus, it had to be silent, so that would have just been boring. So I didn't get to do that. But I hope you enjoy this video. I did get to walk around a little bit and show a couple of different vendors. I just haven't made it to be that comfortable of video and in public, but I tried my best. I also wanted to add that at this specific venue, the cell service is very spotty. And it when they advertise for this, they do say to bring cash because of that. But I did purchase a new square, and I had a couple of people use it, and it worked great. So the one that I had was probably one of the originals that came out. It was back when your phone had the jack that you plugged it into. It was just a little bitty thing, and then you swiped it. And it never did work that well, but this was a game changer. I highly recommend it. I think it was like $50, $55, somewhere around there. But anyways, I'm going to start the video. I want to apologize right now for the sound quality because I do have to record and give you a commentary of what, so I can explain things that went on. In this part of the video, we are driving down the road to go into the craft fair, and I try to give a little view to the right. They're all set up down there, and then when we get over the tracks, they're all set up down there also. This is Saturday, and it is my setup for the Vulture Fest. And I noted that I couldn't put a camera on the sides. One, I'm too close to that, and here's a walkway over by the mannequin t-shirt. So I'm at the Vulture Fest in Makanda, and that's what I'm doing, is recording the vultures. And I never really knew why it was called the Vulture Fest, but the event is tied to the natural cycle of the vultures, whose gatherings have been a notable part of the local landscape for generations. So I thought that was interesting. So the Vulture Fest started in 1999 as a small celebration of the turkey vultures returning to roost in the forest near Makanda. Just a little tidbit of info. After I got set up, I had a chance to walk out. You can see how close I am to the main road there. And if you go over the tracks and to your left, there's a band playing at the pavilion. You can barely see it. And there's all kinds of vendors, and that's where all the food vendors are. And there's vendors from me almost to the tracks, and There's another road past the group of people there that goes up to an old church, and there's probably 10 or more vendors up there also. So right here, I'm going to take off down the road to show you the other way where vendors are and show some stuff that they have. My friends had come back. They'd been walking around shopping. And right when I got to that girl that's standing in the road, it started raining. So I ducked in their tent right there and then hightailed it back. And when I got back to mine, it quit raining. If you watch this little clip, there's a couple that walk by with vulture hats on. So I got to venture out once again, and the the gal that's in this tent, she's one of my friends, and she sells tie-dye, everything. She does beautiful work. Her name is Hippie Child Creations, and I walked down there to talk to her to see how things were going with her. As I was walking back to my booth, I ran into this guy with his parrot, and I wish I would have had my sound on at the time, but there was a band playing pretty close, and it said, "Hello." This is Sunday setup. That's my husband in the background. Um, this was probably around 3 o'clock. The event was to be over around 5. And we finally had to take the tent down because it kept blowing pretty hard, even though we had lots of weights on it. And I just was giving you a little bit of an overview. There's a blanket laying on the table. While I walked to get me something to eat and use the restroom, my husband sold the blanket, another purse, and like 3 or 4 more items. I should have stayed gone longer. This is the view that was right behind me. I was set up right in front of the building. Um, it's called the boardwalk. I don't think the building's called that, but the area is called that, I do believe. There's a bunch of shops in there. They're very cool shops. There's a little ice cream place in there. Up above, there's an apartment and 2 Airbnbs. It's just a really cool place. Right after I got done with the craft fair, we went behind this building and there was a band playing. And this is at nighttime. They have a great big peace sign. You'll probably hear my husband in the background. Yeah, Jerry got away and he was yelling at me to step on his leash. Most all the video footage that I did take was silenced because there were bands playing. I had one playing like catty corner from me, which was loud enough. I know my microphone would have picked it up. And there was another one playing back behind the building. So because of copyright on YouTube, I didn't want to chance it, so I silenced the videos. Hopefully I did a good enough commentary, and I'm going to try to add the music that they were playing if it's not copyrighted, and we'll see. I hope it turned out good for you guys. My mom did end up coming down for about an hour. It's so funny. I had these dish cloths. They're made of cotton, and I had them rolled up and a piece of string around them. And people kept thinking they were fingerless gloves. Oops, sorry, the wind's starting to pick up again. And there were quite a few people asking if I had any. So I texted my mom and I'm like, hey, next year, put fingerless gloves on items you want to make. And that was Saturday. So Sunday I get a text about 11:30 and she's like, I'm on my way there. I'm like, oh, okay. I hadn't expected her to come. And she gets there and what does she have? Fingerless gloves. I mean, she can just whip that stuff up like crazy. Also, I did have a lady argue with me about my dishcloths. Um, I had them for $8, which I checked prices all over to see what other people sell for, and it was in between 5 to 22. So I thought, $8, that's not bad. And a lady came up and she goes, oh my God, I've been looking for these all over. I can't believe I found them. These are beautiful. And then she looked at the price and she goes, that's way too much for these. She goes, I was going to buy 3, but now that I've seen that, I'm just only buying 1. And I'm like, well, that's fine. I'm not about to go down on my price. Had she not been so snarky about it, I might have lowered my price, but she just kept going on and on about how expensive my stuff was. And then I finally said, do you know the price of cotton yarn? I said, the price of cotton yarn has gone up. I go, these take me an hour to make. So if I charge minimum wage, which is $15, the price of the cotton, which I can only get 2 out of 1 ball of cotton, I said, these would be $25. And she's like, oh, I guess I didn't think about it like that. But I can only still buy 1 because they're still too expensive. And I thought, ugh, please go away. And then later that night, after we packed up and we went back to listen to a band, I ended up sitting right by her. I didn't even realize, and I thought, oh, so I had to get up and move because I was still a little salty about it, I should say. This is our last night here, and tomorrow we'll be packing up and going home. And then I got to work Wednesday, which I don't really want to go to. Anyways, we got here on Monday. I did not bring my laptop or iPad or anything because I didn't. Amazon is so picky about uh, what do you call that, IP infringement or whatever, and I didn't want to get on another Wi-Fi and then be my account canceled. So I just been going off my phone. There's not a whole lot you can do off your phone with Amazon. And anyways, Tuesday morning I get up, check my auctions, or not auctions, but listings, and I have a warning, your account is going to be deactivated. And simply what that means is it's my time of the year to verify that I'm a handmade seller. And the only way you can do it is on a laptop or your desktop. So this whole week, I've just been freaking out about, first thing I got to do when I get home is verify, because nothing's selling. I went 4 days without anything selling on Amazon. Then I had 3 days with selling 1 or 2, which is very rare for me. It's really been going down lately, but they did switch the categories. And if I'm not mistaken, there's not a handmade category. I'm thrown in with the general public of everything, and I'm not getting found as easily. So now I've got to try to build up again, and I can do it. I'm going to be positive about it. I don't want to leave here though. I love being here. It's been so relaxing. The only bad thing is we've ate like we're never going to get to eat again. And I do feel pretty miserable with all the food we've been eating. I do have potato soup going in the crock pot, and that's going to be my last good meal. And I'm going to have to go back on my diet and get out there and start walking. Okay, I wanted to give you a breakdown of what sold the best, and it would have to be these purses, these zipper wristlets, which I do have a pattern. I can put it in the link. And also the keychains. They sold really well too. Those were my top 2 sellers. The jar grips, they were okay. They didn't do as well as they normally do. My mom's glove cozies sold very well. What else? I only sold 1 dishcloth, and I'll explain at the end of the video, or probably later on, that a lady argued with me about it. My mom's dish scrubs sold really well. And I got asked a lot for bowl cozies, and I did not bring any this year because I didn't. And I wish I would have, because last year I had a whole table full and came home with 3. My mom's coasters, those I've only got 2 sets left, and I can't remember how many I had altogether. 6 maybe. So those did well, but I won't have her make them again. This is the second year I've tried to sell them, and for some reason they went over really well. You know, this craft fair stuff is a hit and miss type thing. I had my wristlets, and I only sold 1 of those. My purses that I have hanging on the wall, I took 5 and I came home with 2. So that's not bad. The first 2 things that sold for me were my shopping bags. I only took 2 because I didn't really have enough time to get more done. And I sold 1 before the craft fair ever started, and 1 like 5 minutes after the craft fair started. So craft fairs are hit and miss. When you think you've got it figured out what people want, it's always the opposite.